Good.
The press and the Down Beach Current were notified of this meeting. A copy of same was posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building. Would you please turn off all electronic equipment? We're going to stand for the flag salute. Attention, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks. Tom, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Becker.
Here.
Mr. Blumberg.
Here. First item on for discussion is the fee ordinance of number 15 of 2012. Marty, did you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I did. We've talked about this before, but I wanted to put it on the workshop meeting in an attempt to discuss it and then put it, if you're in agreement, put it up. It would be a first reading. It would be a first reading at the 5 o'clock meeting and then second reading in 2 weeks. And basically, what we're looking to do is rescind a portion of this ordinance that relates to stage rentals and setup fees for the stage, specifically as they relate to charitable and nonprofit organizations. And I recall when this ordinance was introduced in 2012 that I spoke against it. And recently we've had a couple of people come in, former Commissioner Campbell, who finds this portion of this ordinance particularly onerous. People have come to me outside of work meetings and have complained. And when you really think about it, it really is something that I think we should consider rescinding. I wrote some language that suggests that, and I don't see a copy of it here, that suggests that when a nonprofit or a charitable organization is looking to use the stage, that if we are not going to incur any overtime costs, that we grant them the setup of this stage and not charge them for it. And understanding that if Public Works is on duty, that certainly it shouldn't be, if it's organized and planned, it shouldn't really impact the other work that we're going to be doing on that day, on that particular day. I'm sure that Frank could plan it. So understanding that these charities involve Margate residents, Margate community, I think it's a community service that we should provide and not charge for. So in that regard, I'd like to suggest that we amend this ordinance with the caveats, and I think I sent the language along to Solicitor Abbott as well, with the caveat that the approval of the events would be by the governing body, so that we would approve, the organization would come to us, and that it would be, the governing body could grant approval. And this way, we still have a little bit, won't run amok, that anybody that wants to borrow the stage could then borrow it. And in that regard, I ask for your approval, Mike, to put that back up on the agenda for tonight for first reading of an amendment.
Okay. My understanding is, Danny, maybe you can confirm this, that there's been a resolution of the problem with the log cabin. It hasn't been finalized, but I think both sides are in agreement. So I'm not sure that this is really necessary, Maury. I think...
well, it's more than just the log cabin. You know, the JCC uses the stage. There are events that happen throughout the town, the beach dock uses the stage. There are more than just the log cabin that uses the stage. And so in that regard, I thought that, we could in fact get this onerous clause off of the books. Again, I'm not privy to what's going on at the log cabin, but I wanted this to be more far-reaching than just the log cabin. If someone else wants to use the stage, and they are deemed by us to be a charitable organization and/or a nonprofit fundraising event for a good cause, that the governing body could approve that, and these people wouldn't have to worry about paying that kind of money.
I am not prepared to do that today. I haven't seen your language or any of that. I'd certainly be willing to look at it in the future.
Okay, so since I guess the way the procedure that we have here is that we have discussed it at workshop. So at the next meeting, I will ask that, in advance of the next meeting, I will ask that Scott get the language to you and to Brenda, and we will in fact put it on the regular meeting for first reading. If you're so inclined to vote for it, you can. If not, then you don't have to. Okay?
I'm fine.
Is that fine? Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Tom, you're next, a license agreement?
Scott, your next license agreement?
Fine, here we go. I think Mr. Balanson is here for the Margate Dairy.
Your name is there.
For the Margate Dairy Bar. We might also have somebody else here as well. Again, Mayor and Commissioners, as you've directed us to do everything we can to assist people in their efforts to try to recover from the storm and get their businesses and their homes open. This is one of those situations. Mr. Balanson is on behalf of the Margate Dairy Bar. As I understand it, they're doing renovation work resulting from the storm. They're going to have a temporary trailer similar to what Starbucks had in recent months, if we recall. This trailer, I think, though, needs some kind of a platform so people gain access. I think Mr. Balanson can probably explain it better than I. Why don't you explain to the governing body what it is you're requesting?
Thank you, Mr. Abbott, Mayor. Commissioner Blumberg, I'm Chris Balanson. I represent Chris Clayton, C Squared LLC, operating as a dairy bar. Dairy bar has been there for 57 years, operating continuously since then. In the recent storm, it was wiped out, so to speak, with substantial flooding. Everybody now sees the renovations being undertaken, so hopefully they can get operating this summer. What I'm also pleased to tell you is that at last month's planning board meeting, a substantial renovation project for that building was approved by the planning board, which will incorporate the restaurant element into the dairy bar with the kind of a burger, shakes, ice cream place, and a complete building renovation. It's really an exciting plan and will be a really cool element at that end of town. However, the renovations that are currently ongoing will not be completed, and this is just the first phase, will not be completed likely until late June. In the interim, what we request from the city, as similar to Starbucks had, as Scott said, is a temporary trailer which is in the street directly in front of Dairy Bar. The problem that arises therein is that Dairy Bar is primarily a children-friendly use, so to speak, and all the trailers for that type of temporary use have windows that probably I would have a problem getting to, so let alone kids. So what Chris is proposing to do with his contractor is simply build a 3-foot or 4-foot platform and stairs on each end. Stairs not encroaching toward the sidewalk, but stairs facing Ventnor and stairs facing Longport, to allow the kids to get up to the windows. That is on city property. And typically how we handle that is by way of a temporary, a temporary license agreement, which is simply an agreement that would allow the trailer to overhang the curb by a foot and then the platform to extend not necessarily into the sidewalk, Mr. Mayor, but what would ordinarily be the area where the grass strip is, if it was a residential area. I have given to Scott a recent survey that was done showing generally the area that the porch or platform will be located in. I have also provided to Scott a certificate of liability insurance wherein the city is named as an additional insured with respect to the temporary trailer and any liability that arises therefrom. And I have also reviewed the proposed license agreement that Scott has drafted and have no problem with its language or recommending that Mr. Clayton sign it. I would ask then that the matter be placed on the 5 o'clock agenda by way of a resolution authorizing the city to enter into a license agreement with Mr. Clayton and C Squared so as to allow the trailer to be there until the business can, till the building can open.
Any question, Mike?
Mayor, I just wanted to point out that the planning board unanimously endorsed this major expansion. They're very much behind this business being able to operate this year. The license agreement will still leave about 8 feet of sidewalk for people to go by and for people to line up, so it really will not obstruct the sidewalk. This is just one of many businesses that are coming back, and we have new businesses coming in all over town. And it's very exciting for Margate that after this hurricane, the business community is so vital. We have a new hamburger place at the old Sun Bank, a new pizza place. God knows we needed another pizza place, a steak place. And we need to do everything, as you say, and as Scott Abbott says, to help these businesses survive this really weird time. So I think it's a great idea to help them out.
Thank you, Roger.
I have one question. Chris, is the, while we're undergoing renovation there, is the back parking lot going to be available for parking, or have you considered that?
The answer from Mr. Clayton behind me shaking his head is yes.
Yes, okay, good.
I have a question.
Why don't you have him
You come up, Chris, come on up. This platform, I assume it's going to have railings along the bridge, okay.
The answer is yes. I have actually construction details, which I can give, loose construction details, which have been submitted for a building permit. I can give those to Jimmy if he's not already seen them, just to make sure it conforms with his standards.
Chris, did you have something? Go to the microphone.
Regarding the parking, there's a dumpster there right now because we pretty much had to gut the entire building.
Right,
We
right.
didn't want to, just as
No, I
it started to steal
understand.
away. So I've asked my contractor the same question because parking is vital with the few spaces we have that they've utilized. He's told me that they should be able to get that out of there. They're really trying to knock it out. So I would assume that sometime, when a contractor says the beginning of May, I'm assuming that means the third week in May.
And when do you anticipate the trailer being open?
Last weekend.
In May?
No,
last week.
I'd like to open up the trailer as soon as I can get that deck up there. We're having it professionally wrapped so it looks like something that should be in Margate, not in Pleasantville.
I assume that Chief, you have your approval? Okay, fine. Thank you. I'm fine with it, Chris. Go get them, guys.
And before you go, I just want to thank you for the extra effort that you guys have put in, and also the people at the city that I know have spent a lot of time working with you on this, so thank them as well.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks, guys.
Just for a clarification
Chris,
now,
when can I get my first ice cream?
Mayor, we're going to approve a resolution at 5 o'clock. We do not need Mr. Bailenson or Mr. Clayton to stay for that if they want to go. There's no reason to make them sit here for an hour, unless they want to.
I don't
So we'll
think-
pass that resolution at 5 o'clock. I sent the license agreement to Mr. Bailenson. We can accomplish that in relatively quick time. The certificate of liability insurance, I think he's given to the city clerk at this point, or we will. All right, this is the only one? All right, I'll make sure Tom has it. And what is this, till what, June 15?
I would say the end of June at this point, Scott.
All right, June 30?
Thank-
Good governing body, is that fine with you guys? All right.
Obviously, we want to get the building open. It's not, hopefully we won't need to be there until June 30th. We want to get it open.
Okay. Mayor, I'm fine with them. I understood there was another business entity here tonight that may
Yeah.
also need a
This
license.
doesn't represent that.
No, Chris doesn't represent
I can probably
that.
How'd you let one slip by? What happened?
What happened? Chris?
What happened?
There goes your perfect record.
Mayor, can I ask Joseph Orazi to come to the microphone? He represents this other business, which is Ariel's hair blow-drying establishment, opening up on Ventnor Avenue, you know, the McJobian stores between Essex and Franklin, 7800 block.
78, 32, and 34 Ventnor Ave.
Okay. And this just developed today. Ariel is taking two stores, putting them together and having this blow-dry establishment. It's for Joe, the mayor, and me especially.
Yep, right. And I'm going to have my hair done there on a regular basis.
Right, so you could, but Jimmy Galantino has determined, due to the circumstances, they have to have a handicap ramp entrance built, and it appears as if that's going to be almost totally on the public sidewalk. That will need a license agreement. It's a short ramp with a little railing around it going sideways. It'll still leave about 8 feet of the rest of the sidewalk. She won't be able to open up without it. So I thought maybe we could, and Ariel couldn't be here, this just developed this afternoon. If you guys discussed it now, we could also put that on the 5 o'clock agenda. Tom said he could put that on. And then they could work out the details with Scott as to the exact location, the meets and bounds, the insurance and all of that within the next week or two. She's planning to open up late May, so there is some time. Do you want to add anything to that, Jim?
No, I just want to say that we're excited about opening this business. It's going to be very chic, very high-end. I think you're going to be impressed. This situation that came up with a handicap ramp, which obviously wasn't there for the two businesses we're combining right now, presents kind of a design difficulty for us because it's a little obtrusive, and so we're trying to figure out a way to minimize how that's going to affect the design and the chic front of the building. One of the things, I don't know if it's appropriate to bring up now or not, but one of the ideas from our interior and exterior decorator is maybe we can do and we don't want to minimize the needs of our handicapped clients, but maybe there is a portable type of ramp that can be there and available, that can be slid into place by our people.
Jim, is that possible?
No such thing?
No such thing.
Okay. And that answers that. But then what we want to do is try and minimize the size and the obtrusiveness of this ramp. And then the license agreement, I think, would need to be, unless I'm mistaken, between the owner of the building, because we're leasing it,
Scott,
and the city.
That's correct. It can't be the tenant to the city, can it?
No, it's going to have to be the owner of the property.
Okay.
Somebody has to furnish a certificate of insurance. When are you opening up your business?
Well, we're looking to get started as soon as possible. We're hoping second week of June.
Okay, so you have plenty of time, A, design your ramp, B, get your landlord to approve and request a license agreement. C, you're going to have to get an insurance certificate, just like you heard the other fellow did, that names the city of Margate in case somebody's injured on your ramp. That'll be on city property. And we can certainly work this out with you. You should have some kind of a plot plan, preferably a sealed one, that'll show the dimensions and locations of the ramp.
We do.
You'll have to show it to the building inspector to make sure it meets his requirements. Where, Jimmy? Right there, I'm sorry. And you have to make sure that, whatever the required width is and whatnot. And I don't see any problem, Mayor, Commissioner Blumberg, we can get that out. We've talked about it tonight. You can have a resolution authorizing it, subject to final details and plans, and insurance certificate and landlord's consent, and we can move forward on this.
Are you okay with that?
Absolutely.
Fine.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
What was the name
The
again?
name of the place is Aria, A-R-I-A, and underneath it will be a salon, a blow-dry bar. I don't know how many people are familiar with that, but they're in higher-end urban areas like New York, L.A., Chicago, Vegas.
Get me the relevant information. I can get the documents drawn up.
Okay.
You know how to do that? Okay, beautiful.
All right.
Thanks.
Great.
Get
Thank
into
you very
my
much.
office.
Thank you very much.
Okay, directly to my office. You know where that is? Washington Avenue?
Okay.
That'll save some time.
All right. Great. Thank you very much.
Scott, can we put it on for tonight, though, just to expedite things?
I'm sorry, Roger. I have a very hard time understanding.
Can we put it on for tonight? So that they can-
Absolutely. I
Yeah,
want
okay.
to put it on.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
If do, all the other programs. Okay.
And maybe it's me, guys. I'm having like an echo here. It's hard
so
for me
am
to
I.
make it
Yeah,
out.
I don't know. Where's
Maybe it's
Fred?
my hearing.
I'm not getting any echo back here.
Not there. Is it just me? Maybe my hearing.
No, I...
My wife tells me I'm deaf.
What?
That's right.
All right.
Just can't satisfy it.
All right, that's... You're done? You're done? All right. And next item, we have with us today our auditor, Mr. Leon Costello, who will present the 2013 budget. Leon?
Thank you. Tonight is the actual public hearing on the 2013 budget. It was introduced a month ago, and it's been advertised. The impact of the budget, which hasn't changed from introduction, there's been no proposed amendments that I know of. Correct, Tom? Nothing's been suggested for an amendment. So what we had at the introduction was a budget that actually contained a 0.1% tax decrease. You're one of the few towns that will not have an increase in most of the municipalities in New Jersey. If you've seen the papers, you've seen everybody has an increase, basically. You're also one of the few towns that still has rateable growth. You added almost $15 million worth of new ratables, which is net of new construction minus what appeals and losses that you had. That's pretty unique right now. If you've looked at other towns, there are appeals that range almost $200 million losses of ratables in other shore towns that compare to you. I shouldn't mention them by name, but you probably have seen the stories on some of them. So all in all, the budget that you have is pretty flat. Salaries are basically the same as last year. You've had the statutory increases that you were mandated to have. Your pension costs, there's nothing you can do with those. Health insurance is also by contract from most employees. You are way, way under what you're allowed to raise in taxes. You're $707,000 under the levy cap, which means that if you so desired, you could spend another $707,000 and levy that in taxes, which every $350,000 is a penny in Margate. So 350 equals 1 cent, so basically you had 2 more cents worth of levying power if you elected to do so. The good thing about that is in the 2% levy cap bank as compared to the 4% levy cap, there is a bank for this, so you can reserve that to levy it in the future. Under the 4% law, you could not. If you didn't levy it, you lost it. So that's a positive with the new 2% law. Your fund balance is slightly better than it was last year. Again, that's not normal right now. You had an increase in fund balance. You're using more fund balance to offset this budget, but you also have a major increase in your budget due to Hurricane Sandy.
Just fund balance is surplus.
Surplus.
For those of you, terminology.
So all in all, unless if there's any questions from anyone up here, this is what is proposed. It was what was introduced. I've heard no mention of any amendments. You're cleared by the state to adopt, and your school is done. The Board of School estimates met, so we don't have to wait for that. That's included in this budget. You're a Type 1 school, so there's a couple unique features that your budget actually contains the school tax levy, believe it or not, but it shows up as a school tax levy, not yours. And they're also down, I think they were down 0.2% is what the school was down. So any questions from the governing body or administration? Clerk?
I have none. Marty?
No, good.
Anybody else? Questions for Mr. Costello?
So we'll have the public hearing at 5 o'clock or wherever fits into the meeting, and then I'll field any questions that the public has and then ask for a motion to adopt. 2 people need to say yes. You do have 2 here, so
Okay.
you can adopt it tonight if you so please.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Okay. We have plenty of time. We'll go to department head reports. Ed, you want to start?
All right, we took bids on the 2nd for the 2012/13 road program, and the low bidder, the apparent low bidder, was Asphalt Paving System for $1,927,000. I would hopefully at the next meeting we could award the contract. He'll be able to, in speaking with the contractor, he'll be able to do some small things, but the majority of the work will probably wait until the fall, just so that we don't have disturbed streets for the summer traffic. We did submit a hazard mitigation grant program, an additional letter of intent for Back Bay bulkhead replacements. That was submitted. We'll see if there's any action. As far as projects that are under construction, well number 8, they're scheduled for next week to come in to swab the well and then to start to put it back together. Mold remediation at the various buildings complete. Everything's complete. We're just doing the closeout documents. The emergency bulkhead repairs, the Atlantic City Electric did get in and did take the poles down finally. I spoke with the contractor. He will be back. He's on vacation this week. He'll be back in town on Monday and get started. He has all the material so we can get those done. We're also in the process of requesting quotes for all the stair repairs, for the bulkhead repairs, and for the beach access, the vehicle ramps that need to be, the one by Lucy the Elephant especially, needs to be replaced. Firehouse number 1, I received an email from the contractor that he feels all the punch list items are complete. There are some little things that Dan Adams made us aware of today with the alarms. But essentially they're very close to being complete. We're still shooting for the chief's April 15th deadline to have everything signed off on with the firehouse. I'm meeting with FEMA tomorrow at 2 to talk. I just got another email from them to discuss hazard mitigation measures for buildings in the city. Grant funding that they'll provide. It's what's called 406 grant funding. It's for buildings that have been damaged to try to prevent repetitive loss. So we will do that. And let's see what else. I also received an email today from one of our cell phone carriers that are on the Gladstone Avenue tank. They currently have their antennas, they're one set of antennas up there. They want to put a 2-foot diameter, essentially a dish, up in the same location as their antennas. And I was going to get together with the solicitor because if they're going to put additional items up there, we should ask for additional money on the lease. They're open to that. We just have to determine, how we can do that without and what the dollar value should be. But they're anxious to put again, it's a single 2-foot diameter dish. And they've done most of there's a few punch list items from their first installation they haven't completed, but they're asking if they can do that at the same time if we let them put the dish on.
Hey, Ed, would it be possible for the benefit of the governing body or to see what it would look like? Because once one does ask, maybe others, and I don't want to look like other water towers look like up and down the shoreline here.
Surely, yeah.
They look good in some places when you get a lot of
I can get a sketch from them. I've seen it before. It's not very obtrusive, but it's additional. It's an additional item up there. Again, it's around the painter's ring, which is at the bottom of the tank. But I can certainly bring a sketch for you to look at.
Why do they need it?
Excuse me?
Why do they need it?
Just to expand their service. It's Verizon. For some reason, they need this dish, they claim. And I've seen them on other tanks. I'm starting to see this dish going up. It must be as part of an expansion of their service. But I can get that information.
Before we go
also.
forward, I think it's a good idea to see what it looks like, Ed.
I will get I'll get a sketch, so maybe at the next meeting we can make a decision.
Okay.
If we want to do it.
That'd be good. Thank you, Ed. You have anything else? I didn't mean to get
I believe we are, that's all.
Okay, Jim?
Thanks, Ed. The extension, you read the paper, the FEMA extended the deadline to May in case anybody wants to apply for an SBA loan or to make a claim. The pod storage, I just talked to Frank about it. There's a 60-day mandatory time limit on pod storages. They're the little temporary storage they put on the street to put their stuff in. They are allowed to keep it on the street for 60 days, but after 60 days they have to remove it. Are you guys okay with them leaving that storage container there for an extended time, like another 2 months, until they get back in their house? We have a few of them in the town.
you have a recommendation?
Sorry?
Do you have a recommendation?
I'd say, as long as they give it to us in writing and what time frame they're asking, that we just would keep the timeline on that, like another 2 months, 3 months, and then we just keep having them address it and make sure they're aware that we're keeping an eye on them.
I'm okay, Mark.
I don't know that I am okay with that, only in that I think it needs to be on a case-by-case basis, and you would have to absolutely know factually that these people are displaced from their homes, and that people aren't just going to be using them as a garage, because they're tough to look at, and they're everywhere. So, I mean, I guess I would be okay with it if we can determine that they are being used, Jim, for people that are displaced out of their homes, and not, additional supplemental storage.
Well, that is the purpose of it.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the purpose of extending.
No, and I understand. I agree. I mean, we don't want people abusing that, but and the other side of that is, if someone really needs that,
well, yeah,
then I think we should.
And I'm okay with that. So, I mean, I would say it's a qualified yes, and we need to rely on you to make sure that it's not going to be abused.
Okay, I'm with you. Absolutely.
What if we just put a time period now on these, like, for instance, June 15th, before summer hits, and then if there was any other occasions, we brought back to you, to the full commission after June 15th?
That's a very good idea, Jim.
Okay.
That way for the summer months, they
Very good.
clear, unless there was an emergency situation.
Go do that.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah.
Jimmy, what do you need?
That's it. I could just use that.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you. Frank?
You got your own.
We're going to start a fire hydrant flushing Monday. It'll go throughout the week. If people experience cloudy water, just let your cold water run until it clears up. We're also erecting a fence at the end of Thurlow Avenue in the bay. We're putting up a wooden fence that matches the fence that's up there. There used to be a fence there and the storm took it away. I've been meeting with Chief Tabasso and Deputy Chief Adams. We've been driving the beach. We checked out all the beach shacks. And we are looking at what the Beach Patrol needs to get started. Beach headquarters needs a lot of work. We're in the process now of removing sand from underneath it. And then the next thing, we'll be coming in redoing the floor, which there's no floor in there now. And then from the floor, we'll do the electric. And then from the electric, we'll do the walls and finish the building off so it'll be ready hopefully by May 1st. We'll be doing everything in-house, in case anybody would like to know, and we are going to start cleaning the beaches. What we do first is we level our beaches off with beams, then we'll be going down with our beach cleaning tractors and cleaning up debris. And then after we do that for a few weeks, then we'll start setting our beach up for the summer season. That's it.
Thank you, Frank.
Yep.
Chief Tabasso.
I think Ed and Frank included everything I wanted to say today. I'm confident that we will be operational in Station 1 in a couple of weeks, and also that the beaches will start off without any glitches. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Rich?
We were in touch with FEMA today with respect to receiving funds. There was one item remaining as of 10 o'clock this morning, and Ed faxed it in at 11 o'clock to the FEMA people, and they gave us an indication that they would sign off on one of our project sheets that we had previously submitted to them. We've got all the backup data, and that should be the last item we'll need on that grouping in order to get a refund from FEMA. So that's good news. There are two small items on the agenda other than the budget hearing that I want to bring your attention to. One is on the printed agenda, and I worked with the Margate Business Association, Anna Maria, this week, and there's an exciting opportunity for us to endorse the Margate Business Association for applying for some grant funds to help support and promote the activities that they do under contract with us. So that's one item. There's one that came in very late this afternoon from the state, and because our CFO is currently on family leave, we need an authorization tonight in conjunction with the budget that would permit me as the business administrator to sign on her behalf, in addition to Tom as the city clerk, who obviously will be signing the budget document as well after it's adopted, assuming it's adopted. So we'll have to just take that additional action that we wouldn't normally have to take. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Scott?
I'll be real brief, Mayor. We did have a meeting earlier this week with the marina owners along Amherst Avenue, as you were in attendance, and Commissioner Blumberg. It went very well. It was a good reception. What we're doing is taking the first step in what's going to be many steps regarding the bulkhead along Amherst Avenue, which is approximately 1,500 feet, and it's very old and in some spots in very poor condition. I think we're going to be looking into the possibility of a grant. Applications made, I believe, Eddie, even to FEMA, or see if we can get some kind of money and work with the property owners who own the marinas, the bay side of Amherst Avenue, extending roughly from Washington all the way down to Coolidge. So that was a positive. A couple other things. We have that flood ordinance, which will be considered in 2 weeks. Everything's been sent off to the state as we're supposed to do. I don't know of any major issues with it. Jimmy, I think you're pretty good with it. Eddie's good with it. Number of people have asked me about an upcoming protest. I'd like to make one comment that we have been working through our coalition and through Stu Farrell with the FEMA people, with the DEP people, and I do think we're probably going to see that V zone greatly reduced. I hope eliminated, but I don't know they'll eliminate it in total. But a great reduction would be of a huge benefit to Margate. And sort of connected to that is our bulkhead along Amherst Avenue. If we ultimately build a new bulkhead and we raise that elevation 2 or 3 feet, if they don't remove the V-zone designation for the lower end of Margate, and then we do build a new bulkhead, there's a possibility that would help that effort, that we could subsequently have them amend their flood map, which controls how high they have to go, what kind of construction, their insurance rates. That's not to say that we don't still have major problems with flood insurance. We're still looking at enormous increases of flood insurance ratables annual for everybody, any coastal zone. Forget the V zone, which is through the roof. Coastal is going to be enormous increases as well, ultimately. So, you know, it's a free country to protest. I'm not going to protest anything on Saturday. I'm just telling you that I think we've made some pretty good progress with the FEMA people, but I do think ultimately there's going to be a showdown about these insurance rates because they are going to be very, very high, ultimately. What else can I tell you? That's basically it. If you have any questions.
Thank you, Scott. Tom?
I just had a couple things. Frank, I meant to ask you earlier, do you know when is the fence scheduled to go in at the playground soon? Do you know? It is.
Probably within the next couple weeks.
All right, only because I know that Commissioner Blumberg had asked a couple questions about, some other people that raised some issues about it. I just want to make sure, is everybody on the same page and in agreement with what we're doing out there with the fence and where we're going to try and park employees' cars and all that? Is everybody squared away with all that? Okay. Just wanted to bring it up. All right.
Okay with that?
I don't know that I ever saw the final design.
That's why I'm asking.
So
before it goes up.
You have a final design. I would absolutely like to look at that.
Not a problem.
Okay.
But you're okay with it in theory?
Oh, yeah.
And upon you seeing it, that's when we'll give them the okay to do it, okay? As long as everybody's happy, that's what we want.
Right, okay.
Okay, we don't want nobody to be unhappy.
I just wanted, before it went up, then you got to take it down or whatever. Let's just make sure that, we have a little time left before the summer where the residents won't be impacted too much.
Not a problem.
Thanks,
I'll
Frank.
get that.
Thank you. The only other thing I had is I wanted to thank the department heads and the staff, especially in Revenue and Finance, for last few weeks with everybody chipping in and taking care of what needed to be taken care of over this last month. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Tom. Roger?
I asked Jimmy Galantino if there was some way he could quantify the degree of construction going on in town. He handed me today a list of 40 homes which were under construction or went under construction since January 1st. We have 40 new homes being built in Margate as we sit here today. It's nothing short of a building boom of new construction. And of course, they are all at the new flood elevations. In addition to which, there's, a dozen and a half or more homes being raised, elevated with major renovations. So beside the great commercial activity that's showing a lot of encouragement to Margate as a desirable place for stores and businesses, it's still a desirable place for good housing, good quality housing. And hopefully those of us who are a little bit too low will not suffer too much from our flood insurance. As Scott says, that's the big worry for the future. But things are booming in construction. Yeah.
That's it. Maureen?
No, everything's fine.
Chief Wilson?
You'll note there are two ordinances under 09 on this evening's, the 5 o'clock meeting. One is to establish 1-hour parking right out here on Winchester Avenue from Union to Vendome on the north side only, and the other one is for a 15-minute zone at Douglas and Ventnor Avenue at the request of the owners of Mateo's Restaurant. And we're gearing up we're prepared. The JCC is having the April Fool's Marathon, half marathon, actually, this Saturday, so we're ready for that. Other than that, everything's good.
Excuse me, Chief, what was the,
Where's the other one? There's only one on the agenda.
There it is. No, there it is.
There's 7801 is...
Yeah.
It's actually two components to those same ordinance.
Okay. So, correct. Two addresses, one ordinance. Is that correct? Okay. Anything else, Chief?
No, sir.
Rosie, do you have anything? No. Maury, do you have anything?
I do not.
I do not either. We'll open to public comment to discuss anything you've heard here today so far. Please come to the microphone and state your name and address.
Dan Campbell, 403 North Huntington Avenue. I just want to make a point, Mayor, that I didn't come up here a couple of weeks ago as a representative of a log cabin. I came up here as a concerned citizen, not of the Concerned Citizens Group, but as a concerned citizen that this stage was being taken away from all the nonprofits that use that during the year. So the answer to the problem from you or Commissioner Talby of putting or dumping the stage onto the log cabin doesn't resolve the problem for anybody except the log cabin. The Fall Fun Fest, the Beach Fest, the JCC, the Margate Community Church, Spin for the Cure, they are still without a stage that they use all year long. What I'm asking you to do is, part of what Commissioner Blumberg has proposed is to allow the stage to be used by those organizations through the help of the city workers. Now, the city workers, I'm sure, have time in their day to be able to put that stage together. They are the ones who put the stage together for the last 8 years that it's been around. And I don't think that it's that much of a big deal to have them do that. We've had a few people come up here today and ask for your help and the city's help, and you've obliged them, and you seem to be in support of doing what's best for the city of Margate, whether it be the Margate Dairy Bar or the new ventures that are opening up in Margate. Why can't you, along those same lines, in the spirit of cooperation, be willing to help those organizations that use the stage by allowing the employees to help and put that stage together? It's not a big deal, it's not a lot of time, it's about a half hour on the Friday before the stage goes up. I just think by putting it onto the cabin, you haven't solved the problem. You've only given the log cabin the responsibility of the stage. They still need to put it together, and they don't know how. So I'm asking you to look at the ordinance that Commissioner Blumberg has proposed, tweak it in any way that you need to, get your expert solicitor to look at it, and try and come together with something that will work for everybody.
We'll do that.
Okay?
Sure.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan. Anyone else?
When you get a chance, right on there.
222 West Drive, following up on the remarks of your expert solicitor concerning federal flood insurance, Mayor. Mayor, by any chance, did you happen to catch the AP Wire story Wednesday a week ago with the statements by the head of FEMA, Craig Fugate? Is that a yes or no, Mayor?
That's a no, Rich.
All right, then I'll bring you up to speed, Mayor. If you recall, Steve Marshall had noted real estate prices could depreciate by 25% as flood insurance premiums go from, say, $1,000 per year to more than $20,000. And he goes on to say, it's not unreasonable to expect that many homeowners would literally have to walk away from their homes priced out because flood insurance has risen astronomically. Well, Mr. Fugate has made numerous hostile remarks. I gave the link to the solicitor of the C-SPAN seminar. I also gave it to the city engineer. But Mr. Fugate was making statements down in the city of New Orleans. And Craig Fugate, the FEMA director, says, quote, some people are now paying hundreds of dollars a year, could wind up paying thousands because Congress says the program must, at the very least, pay for itself. Now, if you're familiar with any federal program, whether it's Medicare or Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, when they run a program, it's not run cost effectively. And the billions and billions and billions of dollars that are being laid out. In fact, Mayor, you may have read a more recent article in the press about the Red River running through Fargo, North Dakota. And they've had flooding, I think, 4 of the last 5 years, solicitor? That's a rhetorical question. You don't have to say yes or no because it's a fact. And the bottom line is that when you pass these premiums on based upon the losses of billions upon billions, I think Steve Marshall's figure of more than $20,000 might be very conservative. And in that light, Mayor, I would strongly urge you to anticipate a similar situation to what's going on in Ventnor, where they're having extreme loss of ratables due to the devaluation of properties. And this will continue unabated for years to come.
30 seconds, John.
Okay, we can wrap this up very quickly. And in that light, Mayor, it's incumbent upon you to anticipate, with the devaluation of properties, a loss of tax revenue, and to begin to make the necessary cuts, which I'll discuss in the next 5 o'clock meeting. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, John. Anyone else?
Sharon Simon, 424 North Thurlow Avenue. The question of transferring Tom Hiltner, the city clerk, from Commissioner Blumberg's department to yours was done very quickly, okay, without a lot of discussion. And here we have an ordinance. I'm talking about the ordinance that was brought up, that was discussed.
We did not talk about that today. You can certainly talk about that at the 5 o'clock meeting if you like.
It was discussed at the work meeting. I'm bringing up something that was discussed at the work meeting.
Mr. Hiltner's transfer was not discussed here today.
It relates to the ordinance that was brought up. Okay, my 3 minutes are starting now. Thank you for interrupting me. Anyway, this question of bringing up an ordinance to rescind the stage issue was brought up actually 2 weeks ago at the last meeting, and Commissioner Blumberg said he was going to bring it up. Mr. Campbell has been here, 3 times already? This is not a new subject, and for you to hem and haw, and maybe we'll put it on in 2 weeks after you throw ordinances on all the time, particularly one that had to do with the clerk, that is a big, big change. It's just another example of how, Commissioner Tobey and you set up these things. Commissioner Blumberg's against it, the public's against it, and here we have our budget, and we have all this money and all these ratables, and you want to gouge the Margate citizens with the stage. It's just pretty sad. The other thing I want to ask, and this is probably for Mr. Costello, is with regard to the budget. In each department, have the costs gone up or down? Public Works, Public Safety, Building Department, Revenue and Finance, and have the staffing dollars increased in those departments? And there was a number that was passed around that the Rec Department reduced their staff by 40-some employees. And is that a real actual number, and what was the cost effect of that?
Did you get it?
Questions that were brought up about the budget.
If you want to ask Mr. Costello questions, you could ask him at the 5 o'clock hearing, Sharon, not here.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And also, there was a question of monies to Little League that would be part of the budget, I guess, and the legality of it. I guess you'll answer that at the 5 o'clock meeting. I thought you didn't answer questions there either, but I must be mistaken. And I still have 1 more minute, according to my little clock here.
I will agree with that.
So I would like to comment again on the stage situation, and I think it's a shame that somebody has to come here 3 and 4 times to say the same things over again, and that for you to keep bringing up the log cabin when Commissioner Blumberg, former Commissioner Campbell, has said 3 times it's not about the log cabin. So it would be nice if you stopped dancing around that. And I'd also like to comment on your question about the railing on the stairs for the dairy bar. I think that your building department and whoever gives your permits certainly would not give permit to a stairs that didn't have railings. I think it's almost insulting to them that you would ask that question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Is there a motion to close public comment?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Mr. Becker? Yes. Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Is there a motion for adjournment?
I'll make that motion.
I second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Thank you. We'll take a very brief break and we will move on.